to be on. Now, Unrivaled did the funniest thing last night that got a lot of us hooked in. Let me explain what I'm talking about.
Due to Caitlyn Clark's decision, the Unmatched League is in complete panic mode.
There is no way Unrivaled put a fake 2-minute counter so we can just scroll through.
And it looked like the Unrivaled League trolled us on a major level.
Unrivaled just announced their rosters for this upcoming season while simultaneously pulling off the biggest troll.
They're using every tactic in the book to entice her in with just 2 wild card spots remaining, but here's the unexpected turn of events. While supporters demand answers, Clark appears unaffected and enjoying her time with the LGP.
It appears Unrivaled has gotten its answer, and Caitlyn Clark is out.
Will she heed their fervent request, or will this be disastrous for the league? Let's dissect it.
Unrivaled put out this letter where they said, "Dear management, what might seem like an average Wednesday in November is in fact a momentous occasion. Okay. A momentous occasion for those who follow women's professional basketball. Please excuse blank from 11 a.m. to 11:22 a.m. Eastern time so that they can watch Unrivaled's basketball club selection presented by State."
The Unmatched League's sole objective was to revolutionize women's basketball. The 3-on-1 format, the promise of nationally televised games, and a roster full of WNBA stars were all intended to draw excitement and attention to the sport, and to be honest, Caitlyn Clark was supposed to be the crown jewel of it all. However, as of right now, she is not on the roster. Instead, there are 2 wild card spots left open spaces that many believe are reserved for her and possibly AJ Wilson. For context, the rumors indicate that she has been approached with offers ranging from a substantial financial offer to league equity, and let's not even mention that offer, $2 million for 10 weeks of play, but Clark has remained silent, hasn't publicly expressed interest in the idea, and hasn't rejected it outright. This ambiguity is what's making the fans and the Unmatched go crazy in this place.
So we can just scroll through. We can find out, is Caitlyn Clark playing? Who are the last 2 players? Wild mystery player! Oh my god, mystery player is a thing! It happened!
Basketball enthusiasts are now debating the wild card places in great detail. The league's recent marketing initiatives only served to fan the flames. They unveiled a 22-minute promotional video that made a clear reference to Clark's jersey number and included cryptic hints that gave many people the impression that she was already on board. However, when the roster was unveiled, her name was missing, and the league left those 2 spots open, referring to them as wild cards. Fans are divided over this move. Some believe it's a cunning tactic to increase tension, while others see it as a last-ditch effort to gain time.
People looked into it even further, including myself, because 11 a.m. to 11:22 a.m. is a very specific time frame and a very specific amount of minutes for a video to be 22 minutes. Obviously, we all know that Caitlyn Clark.
Since fans began complaining that the league was exaggerating a problem they haven't yet fixed, social media has been a flurry of activity. With the mind games, another fan wrote, "If Caitlyn Clark isn't joining, just say it already enough." This wild card idea is beginning to resemble clickbait. Please don't lower our standards. Let's face it, these wild card positions are what will determine the unparalleled first season. Although the league already boasts a strong roster with athletes like Angel Ree and Lexi Hull, they lack the star power necessary to draw in the general public. Since Caitlyn Clark is a once-in-a-generation talent, she has the ability to attract viewers who might not otherwise pay attention to women's basketball. Without her, the sport runs the unparalleled risk of losing the momentum they've been working to develop, but this is where things become even more intriguing. While the league scrambles, Caitlyn Clark doesn't appear to be in a rush to decide. She has been seen attending prestigious golf events and taking advantage of her off-season, and her cool attitude contrasts sharply with the league's desperate attempts to court her. It's almost as though she is testing them to see how far they will go. Timing is also crucial. In addition to Clark's hectic schedule with her sponsorship deals, WNBA commitments, and other engagements, the new season is scheduled to begin in January, leaving little time for delays. She might not have the capacity to join a new league, and there's also the risk aspect of the league season colliding with important basketball events like the NBA All-Star Weekend, where Clark is reported to play a big part. Even though the 3-on-1 format has been successful in street ball and the Olympics, it hasn't been tried at the professional level. For someone like Clark, who has already made a name for herself as a traditional basketball superstar, joining the league could be viewed as a risky move. Will she risk her reputation on a new league or stick with the WNBA and her other commitments? Another important factor is money. Even while the $2 million offer is revolutionary, particularly in women's sports where pay imbalance is a persistent problem, it might not be sufficient to persuade Clark because money isn't everything. According to reports, the offer also includes league equity, but that carries its own set of concerns. For someone like Clark, who already has huge endorsement deals with major brands, equity can end up being meaningless if the venture fails to get traction. In this case, the risk might not be worth the return. The league's marketing strategies, which leave the wild card positions open and tease supporters with cryptic messaging, haven't exactly helped their case. Clues. They have created a climate of uncertainty. What began as an intriguing mystery has now become a source of anger for many fans. If they don't land Clark, this entire situation will appear to be a huge failure. According to one sports observer, the league's reputation is at stake and they cannot afford to pass up this chance at this time, when the unmatched team appears to be going all out. The league is running out of time, and fans are growing impatient. The question now is, how far will they go to acquire Clark, and more importantly, will it be enough for her? She is not just a player. She is a brand, a cultural icon, and a trailblazer for women's basketball. Her decision to join or not join the Unrivaled League will have an impact on the sport. If she says yes, it could propel the league to new heights. If she says no, it could spell trouble for their entire debut season. What happens if Caitlyn Clark declines to join the Unrivaled League? This isn't just a player losing out on an opportunity. It could drastically change how the league's first season is viewed for months. Unrivaled has teased fans with the possibility of Clark joining, from cryptic videos to those wild card slots. They've built their entire marketing strategy on hope, and hope, as it turns out, can be a dangerous thing. If Clark stays out, the Unrivaled faces a monumental challenge. The league will have to prove that it can survive and thrive without her. But let's be real, this isn't just about surviving. Unrivaled set out to redefine women's basketball, to create a product so compelling that fans couldn't look away. Without Clark, they'll need to work twice as hard to deliver on that promise. One way they can do this is by doubling down on the players they already have. While Caitlyn Clark is undoubtedly a superstar, Unrivaled roster isn't lacking in talent. Players like Lexi Hall, Angel Ree, and others bring a mix of skill, charisma, and potential that could still make the league a success. But here's the catch: they're not household names like Clark. This means Unrivaled will need to shift its focus to storytelling. Fans love a good narrative, rivalry stories about the underdog. If an unmatched team can develop captivating narratives around its players, redemption arcs are the kind of things that keep people interested. It might be able to get the attention it needs. Consider the NBA or WNBA. Another tactic is to capitalize on the distinctiveness of the 3-on-1 format, which isn't traditional basketball. It's fast, dynamic, and has the potential to be immensely entertaining by highlighting the distinctions between their league and other basketball organizations. Yes, the talent is a big draw, but the stories are what keep fans coming back. The Unmatched needs to replicate that magic, and they need to do it quickly. Unmatched can carve out a place for itself. For instance, they may emphasize how the format provides players more opportunity to showcase their unique skills, or how the shorter games allow for greater intensity. However, let's not overlook the obvious: the wild card positions. The league is allegedly purposefully prolonging this to keep people talking, which may work in the short term, but it's a risky move if those slots aren't filled with players who can live up to the hype. As of right now, those 2 spots are still open, and fans are becoming impatient. Amazingly, social media has already turned into a fan battleground. While some critics and observers are supporting the league, claiming that difficulties are common for fledgling organizations, others are less understanding, accusing Unrivaled of overpromising and underdelivering. According to a widely shared tweet, the wild card spots were meant to be thrilling, but now they just feel like a diversion. If Caitlyn Clark doesn't join, just take off the band-aid immediately. Fans detest feeling duped. Transparency will be crucial going forward. If Unrivaled doesn't handle this situation carefully, they run the risk of alienating the very people they're trying to attract. Whether that means announcing the wild card players sooner or providing an explanation for why the process is taking so long, Caitlyn Clark is doing what she does best, being a star. Her decision to stay out of Unrivaled, at least for the time being, hasn't damaged her reputation in the slightest. In fact, it may have even improved it because she has demonstrated that she knows her value and that she's not just any player. She's a game changer who won't settle for anything less than the best opportunities. Her involvement in Golf Pro Am competitions has also given this tale an intriguing new dimension. Let's face it, it's a sharp contrast to the fantastic energy emanating from the unmatched league. It serves as a reminder that Clark is more than just an athlete. She is a multifaceted person with interests and commitments outside of basketball, which makes her even more relatable to fans who see her as more than just a player. Clark's calm and composed approach has also sparked a larger conversation about player power in women's sports. For too long, female athletes have had to settle for less pay, less recognition, less opportunity. But stars like Clark are changing that narrative by carefully choosing where to invest her time and talent. She's setting a new standard for what it means to be a professional athlete in women's basketball. But let's not forget this situation isn't just about Clark or even the Unrivaled League. It's about the future of women's sports as a whole. The fact that a new league like Unrivaled even exists is a sign of progress. It shows that there's a growing market for women's basketball, one that's worth investing in, but progress doesn't happen overnight. And this situation is a reminder of just how challenging it can be to build something new. The next few weeks will be critical for the Unrivaled League, with the season set to begin in January. They're running out of time to finalize their roster and solidify their identity. Whether or not Caitlyn Clark joins the league will need to deliver a product that lives up to the hype, and honestly, that might be the most important thing they can do right now, because here's the truth: the league's success shouldn't hinge on one player. Yes, Caitlyn Clark is an incredible talent, and yes, her involvement would be a huge boost, but the Unrivaled League needs to be bigger than any one person. It needs to stand on its own as a platform for showcasing the best that women's basketball has to offer. If they can do that, if they can create a league that's exciting, innovative, and authentic, then they'll have a chance to succeed with or without Caitlyn Clark. But if they continue to rely on marketing tricks and last-minute surprises, they risk losing the trust of their audience before they've even played a single game. As for Caitlyn Clark, her future looks as bright as ever. Whether she eventually joins the Unrivaled League or not, she's already cemented her status as one of the greatest players in women's basketball. And while fans might be disappointed that she's not currently part of the league, they can rest assured that she's making the best decisions for her career and her legacy. So where does that leave us as they finalize their roster and get ready for their debut season? All eyes will be on the Unmatched League, which has a lot to prove in the upcoming weeks. In the meantime, Caitlyn Clark continues to command the headlines without ever setting foot on the court. It's an intriguing and dynamic story that emphasizes the opportunities and difficulties of establishing a new league in the current sports environment. Even though fans are still hoping for a last-minute surprise, the wildcard saga has already altered the discourse surrounding women's basketball and served as a reminder that the sport is developing, changing, and pushing boundaries in ways we have never seen before, which is truly something to be proud of regardless of how this particular drama plays out.